back from our little recon mission that we did. So, just a little backstory into it. We knew someone that got robbed, and so we're like, well, let's go back out to the spot. There's like some overlooked spot nearby that we could probably surveil it, since it's happened to other people in the same area, and see if we could maybe see these guys doing it in action from the distance and maybe getting some information on them. So today we hiked up a rather popular spot, and
can't trust YouTube. Join our Telegram channel. It's free. We give away gun and gear deals and news that you need to stay on top of, and we have a chat channel for networking with other guys, and it's growing pretty fast. We're happy with it. In the announcement channel, we got like 400 subs, and then in our networking channel, we got about 130, and a lot of great guys. Not a lot of degeneracy in there, thankfully. We try to kick that out, so join that if you're looking to do some networking, want some more deals, and you want to keep up with the news.
So today we hiked up a rather popular spot, and surprisingly we did not get caught. Now we did dress pretty normal going up there while packing out camouflage for once we set up into our observation post, and then we proceeded to observe for the next 5 hours. It is Sunday, so we don't have the entire day to sit out there for extremely long periods of time, because I gotta work tomorrow, he's gotta work tomorrow. And now, when we did get up there, I thought we would be able to probably use our Lapa Gear leaf hoods, you know. It was still too much snow on the ground, so they were absolutely useless, and we didn't even bother with it.
Yeah, it would have been really cool to get to wear those, though. I'm sure everyone would jerk off to it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, leaf suits. But yeah, I just basically just wore my winter parka, this thing, and then this jacket, and then I have a wick-away shirt underneath, and that's kind of what I wore for 5 hours. It is, we were I don't know what the altitude was exactly up there, but it was 35 degrees out today.
It felt colder up there, but we were also not moving around, and when you're not moving,
and we're on the top of the mountain, so.
Yeah, we were fine going up there in the morning, and then just sitting there not moving at all. I started shivering. The hand warmers that we brought, toe warmers, were essential.
Yeah, they came in clutch for when you're sitting around just observing, not moving much. And also having a sleep mat of some sort with us, and just the one layer really wasn't enough after you're sitting there for a while, so we ended up just like folding each of ours up. Like, I have the Marine Corps ISO mat, and he's got this one.
Yeah, wasn't so bad. You definitely want to roll around like an old person in a nursing home and make sure you don't get bed sores.
Yeah, because your ass was hurting. Now for observing, what do we have? I'll get into the small stuff that we used first, which was a rangefinder. We collected distance information off of from how far we were from our observation area, which was, we were about 650 yards from the point that we're observing, and we would have probably been able to obtain license plate numbers and stuff like that, but the mirage, because of the snow was starting to melt, and then the moisture and everything like that, was kind of obstructing the glass clarity from us being able to identify numbers on the back of people's cars, or even just, I mean, I got like one
finer
car.
Details.
Yeah, like one car that I was maybe able to make out the right numbers. I'm not sure exactly. And then just this little 8x21 pair of Bushnell binos, which were pretty nice for having a wide field of view, and then for getting any kind of real information off our
I will
surveillance.
Say it's actually helpful to have one person looking at the place we're observing with binoculars, and then having someone on the spotting scope, because when you're in the spotting scope, because it's so zoomed in, you don't really know what's coming from a distance, and with the binoculars you can. And we were using this spotting scope, the Athlon, which we got it at I forget what website we bought it for. But we could probably drop a link to this, but I'm pretty happy with it. You'll see some video quality that I had my iPhone plugged up to it, and it honestly looks like shit in the iPhone. It looks a lot better with the eye. Probably not. I also have an old iPhone, which didn't help, and I didn't clean the lens, which that might have been why it looked a little bit blurry, but it looks a lot better through the eye. But we still got some footage because that looked cool. But what were you able to see with this?
This is also like a really budget. This is like less than $150. You can get it for like $100 on sale half the time, and like we're able to at 650 yards, I can almost make out a license plate and some numbers. That was also kind of, I feel like what handicapped us was the Mirage, but this thing did really good for what we had. And it's a 60 times zoom on here.
Yeah, 20 to 60, I believe.
And then a wide objective lens, and to mitigate scope glare or anything like that, to give away our position, is this thing has a scope shade which you can pop out and close. And then we also we didn't tape it off or anything, but I had some netting that I draped over top of
Camo.
it. You'll see in the thing, so it also helped mitigate.
You're also pretty limited by how well you can hold it steady. And this is just the tripod that came with it, and it did okay, but it took some practice being able to actually hold it steady, which you'll see in the footage. I think I'm shaking around a shit ton. But probably investing in a better tripod would be nice. So we were just like, I was resting this thing on my knee like this, and then moving it around, which wasn't super steady.
When I was glassing, I just put it on top of my rucksack, which was between my legs, and I had my little rear bag or whatever that I homemade out of rice and 2 socks to like rest it on, and it got a pretty alright stabilization for the spotting scope here. And then like kind of working into like teams is how we would rotate off and on. We didn't really have this exact time. It was kind of just like, hey, you want to take over? And like, yeah, I took over. And then say if one of us needed to drink water or do something, we would then swap the glassing, and whoever wasn't glassing, they would annotate whatever the person glassing would say. And then being able to articulate cars and like what kind and color and everything was really valuable.
You definitely miss a lot of stuff if you're doing this by yourself, unless you're wearing a diaper and drinking through a straw the entire time.
Yeah.
And if you had like unlimited patience, but having 2 people is nice because someone can look around the area. Then
like you were doing a really good job spotting hikers coming up, which we ended up having like a dog literally right above us. It was kind of like Frodo escaping from the Wraiths in the Fellowship of the Ring kind of situation. And like when we went to finally leave, we like climbed up. You'll see some of the first the camera footage or whatever, but there was like footprints from a dog that was standing directly above us.
Yeah, well, I was eating a candy bar.
So I mean, but surprisingly, no one saw us up there. Even like when we were packing up, we saw someone like literally like 30 feet off to the left of us and never even looked in our direction. Is there anything? There's a person.
Yeah, I would say probably at least 20 hikers came up there when we were there. And we were very close to the trail too, but we were off.
Yeah, we're literally, there was like a cliff and then we're just like underneath of it surveilling, which I like. The conditions were really icy, so I don't think people were really venturing off too close to the ledge.
Yeah, it's a little bit sketchy being on the side of the mountain too when the snow's melting and it's slippery. We didn't have any problems with that though, thankfully.
Yeah, luckily. And also we didn't go walk up there, then come off directly off the trail from where that trail was up above us, and then come down to our OP. We ended up just.
I think we should just go up here because the trail's gonna go.
Yeah. So you just want to cut straight up?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
We want to cover our tracks.
Breaking off the trail, lower down the mountain, and then just scaled up the mountain and went up to the right and kind of went to our OP.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we got no experience with trying to cover our tracks in the fucking snow, so...
It also didn't really matter because we're 650 yards from our observation point, and people that are on that trail are just going on a hike. Or,
I mean, our biggest...
trail people.
I guess, like, hazard or would be, like, for someone spotting us would have been other civilians looking at us, and it definitely would have been awkward if...
yeah, we might have even looked a little sketchy.
Yeah, we're completely, like, we didn't bring any kit with us. Like, we didn't look super crazy, but we definitely had, like, you know, our rocks, the spotting scope, some camouflage to blend in a little bit. But
Yeah, wearing masks and
we
stuff
weren't wearing,
too.
like, we brought fanny packs. We didn't bring chest rigs. So we could still blend in with, you know, when we go hop back on the trail to get out of there. Because the area that we're in is, like, very heavily populated. And there was people coming and going constantly. And we're able to fly underneath the radar just by looking like regular hikers almost. Other than our Alice packs that are very militant kind of looking.
Yeah, we didn't really have any snow camo, so we just ended up deciding just to sit in front of the rocks. Although usually you probably wouldn't want to do that because it'd be easier to spot you. But we blended in better with the rocks than the snow because we weren't wearing white.
Yeah, and I mean, we pretty much watched the snow melt around where, like, the leaf stuff is. Plus, we had a lot of trees obstructing us, and the spot we were in was probably, like, the best we could get without going into, like, where we'd be, like, looking awkward with other hikers or some shit.
Yeah. Did we get into the notepad and stuff?
Oh,
Or
yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
Actually
Okay.
observing.
So, actually, you're observing. I ended up just getting a brand new Right in the Rain for it, and these little 4-inch pencils, because these things are more affordable than a Right in the Rain pencil. And then
Yeah, I've never done any type of surveillance and taken a lot of notes. I was like, shit, I never really had a Right in the Rain before, which now I definitely see the use because if you're trying to take notes on something so you don't forget and you can communicate with other people, you definitely want something that you can write on.
And then, like, we wrote, like, front and back on, like, 6 pages of these. And, like, stuff we did record, like, when we first got up there was, you know, location, date, time, temperature, and then our distance from where we were observing. And then the conditions outside, which was snowy, icy. And then for everything that did happen, we kind of recorded everything that came into the area. So, like, at the time, the car, what it looked like, the description of it, and then how many occupants were in it. And then we would try to get the description of those, which we were able to get a lot of stuff out, like what they're cut, like flannels, if they weren't flannels, or jackets and stuff like that. And we could definitely make out if it was a woman or a man, or, like, we were able to even tell if it was, like, someone old or younger. I mean,
When I was taking notes, we'd get, like, models of vehicles, make. If we couldn't make out the model of the car, we'd just describe it. Color. Sometimes we tried guessing, like, the generation of car it is, what direction it came from, where it's heading. And basically, like, when he was spotting and I was writing, I basically just wrote down any information he gave me, and sometimes I'd try asking for details on colors and stuff just to remind him to go down details. And he was saying he didn't want to write down some details because he thought it was pointless, but I said he was being lazy.
he wanted me to write down someone was pointing on their boots.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you never know when that could be useful. Also,
Yeah.
it's for training for the most part, although we would love to catch a thief, especially a gang member. But we were probably taking, for the first, I don't know, 3-4 hours we were there, we were taking notes, like, every...
It was busy. It was pretty busy.
A lot of time it was like every other minute, but then sometimes every 5 minutes. There's people when we're documenting what we saw. Didn't really see anything crazy, although there's some points where we might have made a mistake where we weren't looking to the glass, and then we saw a car coming, and then we were trying to like zoom in and what's the word when you're trying to make it clear? I can't remember.
Oh, like focus?
Yeah, trying to get the scope to focus, and we would miss some things. And then other times there's like a lot of people coming to the spot that we're observing, and there'd be like maybe one sketchy person and like, I don't know, like a group of old women or something.
Yeah, we paid more attention for some reason to, like, we had a truck that was kind of like fitting what we were looking for almost, and like he was kind of like off to the side doing something weird, and then we were like trying to like annotate when these 2 women were leaving.
Yeah.
So it was like we weren't really doing too good on prioritizing what we were focusing on.
Yeah, probably would want to use more common sense in the future. It was good training, but if we were trying to focus on the objective more, we probably would have like ignored a lot of stuff. Not to say we wouldn't document it, because that information could still be valuable. But like, if we see a sketchy person, we don't want to be watching the old ladies that aren't going to be doing anything.
Yeah.
When we could be losing track of the sketchy guy.
Another thing is we kind of like got really hyper focused, I think, on like the cars instead of what the people were doing. So we would lose sight of when the people were coming back to their cars or something like that, and we'd be like, oh, that's a truck that's finally leaving, that's been sitting there for 2 hours or whatever. Like, oh, we'll just annotate that they left. We didn't even see them walk up to it or whatever.
Yeah, we were there for, what, 5?
It was about 5 hours.
About 10 pages we filled out in that time. So there's a lot of writing. I don't know. It would be a pain in the ass trying to do that yourself.
Yeah.
Without having a partner.
Without also missing something. So having 2 guys, especially, like, it can get boring. So, like, especially towards the end, we were, like...
Just slowing down.
Like, you would get, like, 10 minutes of nothing, and then you'd see, like, a car drive by. And then 10 minutes of nothing, and then a car would drive by.
Yeah, it'd be easy to start, like, dozing off while things are happening when you should have been paying attention.
Oh, and then, now, for, like, food and stuff, I just brought, like, granola bars. I didn't even eat any of them.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of unrealistic, well, at least I had a little bit of unrealistic expectation where I brought ramen, which my thought process was, if it's chill enough and there's not many people, I could maybe jet boil some ramen. If not, I could eat it raw, end up just bringing some protein bars. And really, I would have never had time to boil anything, and plus that wouldn't be very secure. It could give away our position.
Yeah, with how many people we could hear behind us at, like, most of the time, and that we saw coming up the mountain, too, is, like, non-stop. So, like, and sometimes we wouldn't even hear that they were there. So,
yeah,
until, like, they're, like, standing right above you and hear them talking or some shit.
I feel like you could hear their voices from pretty far from the most point, which was making me worried we were being too loud, although we did try to keep it down. Prepare to be extra cold if you're doing this in the winter.
Yeah.
I got colder than I thought, even though I was wearing these, like, super thick winter pants that are waterproof. My legs were still getting cold, and I was wearing winter combat boots. My toes still got freezing cold.
Yeah, toe warmers were pretty clutch in this thing, too, because toes are, like, the first thing that get cold, especially if you're not moving. And I mean, I got, like, Solomon Quest GT or Gen 4s or whatever the fuck fancy shit is, and, like, you know, pop those toe warmers in. My toes are pretty good for the most part. Gloves, wool gloves. I was using a wool inserts, and then covered up with leather gloves or whatever, which I didn't wear for most part until towards the end, which my hands were starting to get cold.
I just used tactical gloves to put hand warmers in them.
I did bring extra batteries for the rangefinder. I didn't have a problem with it dying, but you never know.
Bring a power bank too, because we're recording stuff on our phone to try to document some stuff.
Yeah, and then, like, I mean, I dropped my phone in the snow, so my charger port's not working now. And just trying to, like, I think another thing was probably cause some, like, miss some stuff was just, like...
I think that pretty much covers it, right? It was a good experience.
We're definitely going to do more of it. Probably just not the same location. We might even do some urban stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool to... We have to find something worth doing some surveillance on.
All right, guys. Catch you on the next video.